Good morning, Bureau Township friends and family. Today is day 17. We'll be looking at Psalm 65, 66, 67, and 68. I also saw that it is day 32 of the quarantine, or shelter in place. Came from a friend of mine who posted on Facebook, and they just posted about how things were going, and it wasn't as smooth as would be ideal. The struggles with kids, struggles with work, just how life is sometimes hard, and it makes me feel a little bit guilty because our family has been doing quite well. We've been busy. There's plenty to do, plenty of things to distract and keep our minds away from the world outside. And so there's this little bit of guilt that I would say our family's actually been doing better. Spending time together, playing games, getting the hands-on teaching, learning moments. And as we've looked at these Psalms, it's interesting reading through them. And I will be honest, I have not read the Psalms every day, but I've listened to most or all the videos. And the Psalms are interesting because you see David at so many different places in life. You see him at the lows. You see him chased and pursued when he's fleeing, when he feels like he's alone. You see him at times when him and the Lord are close, that his relationship with the Lord is the way it's supposed to be. You know, he's described as a man after God's own heart, but they're also walking hand in hand, step by step. And then we see him brokenhearted because of his sin, and we just see this pattern through his life of where he is emotionally and spiritually and physically, and where the Lord is as he's on that journey. And so some of the highlights from Psalm 64 or 65, 66, 67, 68 are some of these I found real interesting. The beginning of 65 says, praise awaits you, O God in Zion. To you our vows will be fulfilled. O you who hear prayer, to you all men will come. When we were overwhelmed by sins, you atoned for our transgressions. Blessed is the man you choose and bring near to live in your courts. We are filled with good things of your house, of your holy temple. You answer us with awesome deeds of righteousness, O God, our Savior. Goes on and talks about how how the Lord will bless the earth and the Lord will bring forth abundance. But it gives it says, "O God, our Savior." The Christ hadn't been given at this time, but he knew that's what he needed, was a Savior. He knew that he needed the shepherd, the guide, but he knew he needed a Savior. Psalm 66. It says, he turned the sea, this is verse 6, he turned the sea into dry land. They passed through the river on foot. Come, let us rejoice in him. He rules forever by his power. His eye watches the nations. Let not the rebellious rise up against him. So they turned the sea to dry land. And they passed through the river on foot. So the last in 65, it gives this glimpse of a Savior, which was to come. And now he's looking at when they passed through the Red Sea and through the Jordan, something that he had only heard about because it was in the past. And he's given a look forward and a look back. Psalm 67 is short, so I'll read it. May God be gracious to us and bless us and make his face shine upon us. May your ways be known on earth, your salvation among all nations. May the people praise you, O God. May all the peoples praise you. May the nations be glad and sing for joy. For you rule the people justly, and you guide the nations of the earth. May the people praise you, O God. May all the people praise you. Then the land will yield its harvest, and God, our God, will bless us. God will bless us, and all the deeds of the earth, and all the ends of the earth will fear him. I like the first verse. May God be gracious to us and bless us and make his face shine upon us. It's the priestly benediction. I'd try to give you the reference, but I'd probably mess it up. But it's, may the Lord be gracious upon you and shine his light upon you, and have the idea that we are close enough that his face would shine upon us. And then we get into 68. Verse 18. When you ascended on high, you led captives in your train. You received gifts from men, even from the rebellious, that you, O Lord, might dwell there. Part of that is quoted in Ephesians. It says, when you ascended on high, you led captives in your train. And just that picture of that he'll take us to heaven someday with him. So that you take all these pieces. David's looked at God when he was, and God as he is now, when he's with us, his face is shining on us, and what will be, and we're given that picture of who was and is to come. And it doesn't matter where we are at, whether we're at the high or if we're at the low, the beginning of our life, the end of our life. God is a constant. This is what he has done. This is what he's doing today, and this is what he will do. And that doesn't change.